Welcome back.
Welcome back. Today's episode is about beauty standards.
Feeling of not fitting in aesthetically, appearance-wise.
My aesthetics ain't right.
Because let's be honest, like the brown girl glow up is real.
Yeah. Although I've seen the discourse around like that being a toxic mentality.
Like, I have.
Yeah.
But I only believe in it because I'm a product of it.
Yeah. I think that too. But like, if you look at like other, like my white friends when they were younger, they're kind of cute.
Mine look the same, yeah.
And then I look at my pictures when I'm younger and I'm like, I look like a young man with a monocle.
I feel like there were stages. I think like just before you hit puberty, or maybe even the stage of being during puberty, is like the ugly phase. Well, it was for me, because I think I was a cute kid.
Okay,
like
actually, let's just pause and rewind, because you are actually really cute, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but this is what I mean. I'm not talking about like the toddlery kind of stage.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
I mean like when I'm like a teenage, I was like a
7
teenager.
to 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was ugly, but then I think it comes back to the standard, doesn't it? It's like, why are you saying you're ugly?
Based on this, Eurocentric standard, to be honest. But I was goofy. But I was
same.
that girl, like the nerdy brown girl.
Yeah, I had frameless glasses.
Wait, what?
You know those glasses that are like, it's just the glass? Like, moms have it. Not slating anyone's mum, by the way.
Wait, I'm trying to picture this because I swear I've never seen this in my life.
No, you haven't. I don't think I've shown you any pictures.
But in general, I've never seen a frameless
So it's just,
glasses.
if you imagine a glass, but
I just feel like that would look so because when you have like prescription lenses, they make your eyes look weird. So you just look like you have
a weirdo. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to get at with this podcast episode.
So basically, we had a weird phase, which by what standards? Obviously Western beauty standards, right?
Now I'm all glued up.
Yeah, but I feel, how does that happen? Because it's so funny, like, to be able to say that now, but like I could never have imagined
what?
Growing up.
Yeah, couldn't have imagined me actually looking in the mirror and being like,
I kind of like that.
Yeah. That. But then also there was definitely phases where like at school, oh my god, at high school, I was trying to fit in. I was shaving my knuckles.
So you're staring too long at those knuckles.
I think I told this story previously, but do you remember it? I'm gonna tell it again. I thought a boy sitting next to me in one of my classes was cute. I knew I was going to be sitting next to him one day, and in the shower I thought, F it, I'm going to go against the grain here. I know I'm not allowed any sort of form of hair removal, but I'm going to take them off my knuckles.
By knuckles, do you mean like this bit or the actual knuckle?
So I have hair here.
Yeah. Same, because I
remember sitting there and being like, I'm going to be pretty now. Like when I write, I'll be like,
oh. Well, I think I've told you before, I had very hairy hands.
Really? Oh, I've not known that about you.
So when I was in school, they were so hairy to the point like my friends would point it out. Yeah. Well, I didn't really have friends at that point, so it was like definitely friends. Just people not associated with. No, I was like, I had really hairy arms. Like they just came out of nowhere. I think that's the thing that nobody really
that's it.
Makes you realise like how fast it happens.
Yeah.
It's just one day you don't have hair, and the next day you do.
No, I think you did. I think we always had hair. And I always will have hair. I love hairy arms, I'm not going to lie. Like, I've always loved them.
You always had hairy arms? I'm sure you did.
Well, I mean, like, this level of hair, I think, like, I don't mind it. But I think it was a case of we realised, at some point, it clicked for us that not everyone else has dark, thick hair. And potentially I'm going to get picked on for this if I haven't been already. And I'm potentially a little bit uglier than the white girls because of the standards that were set at that time. Obviously, I think, can we have a disclaimer? For this podcast episode, when we say ugly, we are not saying...
Oh yeah, don't cancel us over saying the word ugly.
We're not saying that like anyone is ugly. We're talking about ourselves. And we also know that it was the standards of the time periods that we're referring to.
Right now, because bushy brows and monobrows are all in.
And hairy and eye bags.
Yeah, it's all in, but it wasn't back then.
But it wasn't back then. But yeah, so we're not saying like you're ugly.
Yeah, don't hate us.
Yeah. And like the word ugly is actually not a very nice word either. We're not preferred. Or unaesthetic.
We just weren't of the beauties, like the typical beauty standard at that time. But I definitely know my hair grew. I didn't always have it. Like there was definitely I noticed it, but I noticed it because it was different. Like I physically, and yeah, our hair does grow like a lot darker and thicker. But there is a time, like in the puberty stages, where you actually start growing your body hair and everything becomes a lot more visible. So at the same time, you have other girls that, like white girls that will also go through puberty, but their hair is so fine or so light that they won't have the same problems or like see a big difference, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stage of life is so uncomfortable. And it's so uncomfortable because when you grow up around like non-ethnic people, you're the only one going through it. You're confused.
And you actually do feel ugly. Like I felt ugly for such a long time.
I think that's why I'm using the word, is because I just felt it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's a feeling. You just feel undesirable. You feel like gross in a way.
Yeah.
And it's sad because you're still so little. Yeah,
you know what? You're not just little, but like the very things that made me feel ugly at that time, a lot of those things are things I really love about myself now. Like,
oh, that makes my heart so warm though. Like full circle moment.
Full circle
I hated
moment.
it and now I love it.
Yeah, it's like things I was trying to either get rid of or shy away from are things I quite like about myself now. Like,
so let's
I don't
talk
want to
about that process though, because I feel like there's probably a lot of people that still have insecurities that they've always had and they can't shift it. So how did you go from like hating specific things to actually genuinely feeling like you love them? Like, what was that process, or what was the turning point? Do you remember?
I don't know if there was a turning point, but I think it's just like, I think this also overlaps with some other stuff we've said about actually fitting in and like understanding yourself and stuff. But for me, it's like I really enjoy, like right now in this present day, I love not being the same as someone else. Like I like the things that make me different. I like not
conforming.
I like being like identifiable in a sea of people. Not like purely from a physical standpoint, but I mean like even inside in like personality wise and stuff like that. Like I love having differences, and like I know there's a lot of aspects of my physical appearance that make up those differences, which is why I like them.
Yeah, that's a really nice mentality to have. I like that, because it is, I feel like you grow up wanting to be the same as everyone, wanting to blend in, wanting to like fit in the box. So to be able to like break out of that fully and just go the other way and like actively seek out being different and focusing on what makes you different and unique. Yeah. I think that's an important trait to have. Yeah.
What about you? Like how have you come to a point of like loving the things you used to hate about yourself? Or
do you know what? It's quite weird. I don't know if I ever really, except for like the body hair and things I was embarrassed about because my body was changing, I never really thought much of my appearance and stuff. But I almost feel like getting social media, like now in my adult age, I've become like more insecure.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because I still grow up as this like goofy brown girl that like I had the glow up, but I'm in a stage now where I'm still fighting a lot of insecurities, and I think they've been exacerbated because I'm so public with like my face is online, and I'm always like filming myself, which means that there's just so much more to pick apart.
Yeah.
And there's so much easier to focus on the things that you don't like because it's in your own face as much as it is in everyone else's.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird journey for me, I think, because I'm definitely a lot more comfortable in my skin than I ever have been, because I did go through a weird growth phase of like being embarrassed about body hair and like feeling like the ugly duckling and having all those things happen. But I have had a shift slightly. Like I don't feel ugly, but there's definitely I'm not super confident in myself either. I don't think. Because there is those insecurities, but I'm confident enough to still put myself out there. So again, it's just a bit of a contradiction. Like I don't know.
you're really like embodying the double life.
Yeah, I'm just a conflicted individual. Yeah, I guess it doesn't bother me enough for me to like not put myself out there. But actually, that's the thing. I think I didn't really. There's some insecurities that weren't as big, but they were made bigger because of my decisions to be public. And then, you just notice things more. If you're not always on camera, you don't even, like, how much do you look in the mirror during the day? Not really, but when you've got a video of yourself played over and over and, like, you've got a whole public page of, like, your face, you're going to pick up on things about yourself that aren't perfect or, like, not fitting in with other people on social media or, like, what is considered beautiful.
Yeah.
Even in today's day and age.
Yeah. So what kind of standard are you holding yourself against? Like, what kind of insecurities do you have?
It's a Eurocentric standard, like the standard of what it means to be beautiful in like a Western, like a European sense, which I obviously don't fit. I can't fit because I'm Asian. Like, it's not gonna happen, mate. But it's still there because it's almost I don't know. You just get in that comparison trap sometimes of like, but.
Yeah, I fall into
I'm
that a lot.
I'm not as pretty or like, what's the point in me? Like, I don't know. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I think it's a very difficult trap to like escape as well, because I've always thought I'm not bothered about social media. Like, comparison wise, I've never been as bothered about social media, but like I can make myself feel
I
so
thought that too,
ugly.
but I think I was in denial.
Yeah, I think I was in denial as well, because I was probably like absorbing a lot, but not consciously.
It was a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're downloading all of this information about like what it means to be beautiful, like who's getting the most attention for like the way they look and who's being called ugly and undesirable and like all these, because even in like mainstream media there's a certain look that is posted everywhere. Yeah. And it's very clear what like the most ideal, it's like a Wolfie Cindy, like a Madison Beer kind of look.
Yeah.
That is like the peak of desirability in like the Western world when it comes to like what girls look like.
Yeah.
And when you just look so far from that, you're almost like, well, I can't look like that and I don't look like that. And you feel less than for not meeting that standard. And it's hard to like undo that thought process. But then I also find a bit of empowerment in the fact that I can still show up and be my authentic self and have this platform, but I also still am doing it for the girls that also don't look like that, because not everybody looks like those people. They're very much like it's just a small percentage of people that actually look like that. But there's a whole community of people that are like us that don't look like that typical standard that also feel like that too. And then it's like sad to think that if we feel like that too, but they don't have the representation, so like by doing what we do and like still posting or showing your face, even though you don't feel like you have the right look for it or whatever, you're still helping someone in some way feel like they can relate to someone, or they look like someone that's in the public eye.
Yeah, like there's someone to look like.
Yeah.
That isn't someone that is impossible to look like.
Yeah, and I think it's like the beauty of being different. You're kind of just showing that more.
Yeah. Yeah, like showing it. Yeah, so being like quite bold about what does make you different.
In a way,
even though you know you're insecure about it.
Yeah, it's a weird like... I don't know if I like explain that properly, but it's like twofold. It's like, yeah, I have the insecurities, but the insecurities kind of have been built subconsciously from me consuming content and like seeing what's considered beautiful. But then also like my whole purpose of being online is like girls like me growing up, and like little me didn't have that representation. That's why I felt like that.
Yeah.
So it's like hopefully the future generation don't have to feel like that, because there will be people like us that are public and look like them and have come from similar backgrounds to them, and it's like something that they can like see themselves in.
Yeah, I think, for that reason, representation is super important. I don't know if I personally have always like used representation as a way to like comfort myself. Like, I don't know.
What do you use?
I think I focus inward a lot. Like, I try to like make myself happy with what I look like, because I can't, like, I feel like it's like slightly risky to like rely on like the outside world to tell you that you're beautiful and you're desirable and all this kind of stuff.
But I think that's what I mean. It's like you don't like, you get to a point where you don't rely on that, because you're just comfortable in the fact that you look different, and you're representing an entirely different group of people.
Yeah.
So it's like a different kind of beautiful. It's like there's not one type, and I think that's like the point of being that representation. It's like you're representing an entire different like community of people, and the fact that not everybody looks like that.
Yeah.
Like that one type that's shoved in our faces all the time. But it's okay to look different to that.
I think it wavers for me a lot as well, like feeling quite comfortable or like feeling happy with how I look, because it goes up and down so
I think
much.
That's quite normal, yeah.
Like, I think for me, what I really struggle with, because I've not really grown up with like a lot of like South Asian friends or like circles around, like real circles, like not like movies and things like that. Like
real life.
Yeah, real life people. I still have obviously like loads of white friends, and so that's always been like my comparison point, and all the memes about like the, not even memes, but even in mainstream media, like it's always the brown girl or the Asian girl or the black girl who's never the one that the boy goes for in the movie. Yeah, she's never the chosen one. Not to bring this back to like romantic connections or anything, but that's just the way it's always.
That's just
like,
how it's
the
portrayed,
undesirability
though, yeah.
is like translated through that. And I've always been that person. Like, I've always been the one that's never
picked.
Yeah, never picked. And then when I am picked, I'm not like end game because of being brown. And so I've always compared myself to white people, and like I've really like I can trigger myself really easily by being around, like, I don't know how to describe this, like if I'm around like the ideal like girl, but she's like white and blonde, I can make myself feel so ugly. Like, even now.
I feel like you just internalize a lot. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Like, it's really difficult because like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm still so happy. Like, I still love my differences.
Yeah,
like,
that's like, you're kind of similar to me then, because you can like flip the switch quite quickly.
Yeah, because it happened earlier this year where like I spent a weekend with a couple of models.
Oh, that's
Scotland.
gonna spin anyone's head.
Yeah, exactly. They were beautiful women, and I went home and I just felt like for a couple of weeks after that, I just felt so ugly and like so like horrible. I spoke to my partner about it because I was like, I feel like 18 again, like where you're like really comparing every aspect of yourself. And like when I make myself feel like that, my confidence goes down. Like, I stutter, I can't be myself because I'm like questioning. It's
just
so
really
mad.
self-conscious.
Yeah, I get really, really self-conscious. But it was crazy to even think that I'd get like that. But then equally, I've made so much mental progress.
Yeah.
As well.
It is like a pendulum though. Like, it will swing the other way sometimes, because it's like almost still a work in progress. I don't know if there's anyone on the planet that really just truly feels wholly confident in themselves and never has those moments where they feel ugly. Like, even the girls that everyone looks up to, and that is the beauty standard, I feel like they still have it. And I think that's what I remind myself of, is like, even the people that appear the most confident, a lot of these people like get work done, so then clearly not happy in their own skin anyway, and they were beautiful before. So it's almost like you're just constantly chasing unattainable image.
And what about even, I've just realised, even the standards that we have within our own community? Like, pitting
that's
us
a
against each
whole
other.
different ballgame, isn't it? Like, even colorism, and there's too much going on.
Yeah, because like...
That makes it harder.
I think that makes so
weight
much
is
harder.
a huge issue.
Oh my god, yeah.
Considering how much oil and like how unhealthy the food can be sometimes. It's like, why? When did that become a problem? Like, just let people enjoy their food and like move on with your life.
Yeah, let people enjoy their own food and move on with their lives. Yeah.
It's not your problem. And then like the color of your skin is such a weird... I guess it is like a internalized racism.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Have you ever experienced being told like not to go in the sun and stuff? Have you had it put on you?
I don't think so. I don't remember ever being told that. I'm trying to think now, because I know that's a very common thing to be told. I don't think I was told that. I think I definitely heard conversations about who's darker, who's lighter, like comments made.
I've had that too.
And yeah, especially being half Bengali, half Pakistani. Bengalis are always typically darker than Pakistanis. So I feel like it's not that I've been made an issue, but I've heard the comments. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember ever actively being told, oh, you need to make sure you stay out of the sun type of thing.
Yeah.
I never really
I've been told to like scrub my neck so it doesn't get too dark.
Your neck?
Yeah.
Just your neck?
Well, the neck can like it's almost like blending in with hyperpigmentation and like insinuating that hyperpigmentation is like bad. Like the back of your neck.
Oh. But the sun doesn't even hit it.
No, the back of my neck gets quite dark if I'm in the sun.
When your hair's up.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that, summer.
Yeah, and I've heard comments and like comparisons being made between like family and things. And for me, it's never been like inside the family, no one's ever been made to feel like darkness is bad.
Yeah. You know what I've experienced is like I've seen people get happy over them not passing as South Asian. I've been around like a dialogue around like just being happy to be like mistaken for other ethnicities basically, and I'm just like, what's wrong with the way we are?
Yeah.
Like where we're from.
I used to get very weird about that as well, because when I've been on holiday, I've been mistaken for so many different races.
Yeah.
But then I've been told I have features that are slightly not as South Asian anyway, like typically South Asian sometimes. But I remember one time someone thought I was Brazilian in Germany. I can't remember. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
What does that look like?
In my head, Brazilians are like blonde.
Yeah.
I remember I was insulted because I was like, I'm Indian. Like,
how dare you?
Yeah, like, why would you say I'm Brazilian? And the person I was with was just like, that's kind of cool. And I remember thinking like, is that cool? I don't know.
No, I'm trying to think, have I ever been like mistaken for another? I think I've always been assumed South Asian, like a form of South Asian.
Yeah.
People might not have always got it exactly right, but it's always been there. But
it's quite sad that like people are happy about
like being mistaken.
Yeah. Like not being known.
Like being ambiguous. I'm like, but it should be fine. Yeah. But then the skin colour thing is strange because, you know, like people are so obsessed with tanning. But if you're naturally brown, why are we racially like
abused?
Yeah. I never understood that. I think obviously like the less educated I was on the topic, the more I didn't understand it. I was like, especially being someone that like I tan very easily and stuff as well. So I've always thought, why am I the different one that's like doesn't belong here? Whereas if you have blonde hair and sit in the sun and get to the same color as me and do the same things that I do in the sun, you're like seen as more beautiful and like more desirable. It blows my mind, the whole like tanning thing. I don't get it. I don't get how if you're naturally that color, you're like a lesser of human in society.
Yeah, that's actually wild when you say it.
But if you like if you like make yourself that color and you're not naturally that color, then you're like higher in the hierarchy. I just don't understand.
It really annoys me as well. It like really well and truly annoys me when people tan so much so that I cannot tell.
Isn't that
if
like
they're white or not?
Like blackfishing? That's what it's called, right?
That too.
It's like you're basically changing your race.
You're
like
purposefully
physically
being racially ambiguous when you're actually white.
There's people that actually deliberately, it's the other way around. You know, like there's brown people that just really want to be white and they'll like do things to be lighter. There's so many like white people. I've seen this. I think this is more of like since social media, because I don't think they get more attention, like black girls, because they have like cool hairstyles and makeup and their just fashion sense is a lot better.
Generally.
Yeah. And there was one girl, I think she was Polish or something, or she was just European in some way, and she was like almost posing online as a black girl or like a mixed race girl. And then she just was totally white though in real life. And then people like was surfacing her like photos of her like when she was younger, or like her before photos before the transformation. It's so weird. And she was literally just like a normal white girl. She did her hair in like a black kind of hairstyle. She obviously tanned extreme amounts, that she was racially ambiguous. And she just took on all the like trends associated with black women like over the years on social media, and it turns out she absolutely wasn't. And I was just like that, but she actually made money from it, which is the really messed up part.
Ooh.
Is because then, you know, when brands want to be diverse and like invite people of color to tick that box, but white people get that opportunity, like it's just mind-blowing.
Did they do that thinking that she was mixed race?
Yes. Apparently, yes.
Oh, Lord.
She got like opportunities off the back of, because they wanted that look, or like they wanted that diversity.
Yeah.
In campaigns and stuff, and apparently like...
They had a white person?
Yeah, it was a white person all along. But I think that happens a lot more regularly now. Like I feel like brands choose people that are just really tanned white people to represent the actual ethnic people.
You know what? That's really frustrating about like the representation in beauty, like if we're talking about cosmetics and stuff, because like that, I swear there's like a stat as well that's like 50% of the world, like, or 50% of women are actually white.
Is it?
50 is like quite strong and like sharp figure, but it's something like if you were going to have a campaign and you wanted it to be representative, only really half the people there should be white.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be like you sprinkle in one brown person and one black person and maybe one East Asian person.
Yeah, and then the rest are white.
And the rest are white. Like that's not diversity in itself.
So, yeah, when you ratio it out, it's the numbers don't add up, mate.
Yeah, the numbers don't add up, and it's literally, it's not like levels of tan that you're looking for. It's like you should be looking at like where people actually are from, and like the kind of characteristics or like the beauty standards that they represent, and getting more representation for that.
Like their features, like different. Like especially when it comes to makeup beauty,
yeah, especially when it comes to makeup.
Looks different on different people.
Yeah,
we want to see what it looks like on us.
I still struggle with like finding foundations and like makeup that actually enhances my skin. I know it's a lot better now, but it's more of the fact that like you have to put a lot of effort into finding the right thing, finding the right tone. Like it's so much harder than like, there's no way I could buy something beauty related online. Like I can't. I fully can't unless I bought it before. I have to go in. I have to try it. I have to see if it actually matches my forehead and my cheek, which most of the time it doesn't, because there are 3 different shades on my face.
Yeah, so much to consider. It is difficult. I feel like the options have definitely gotten better. Like there's a lot. Even it was a struggle only a few years ago to find your own foundation shade without having to mix.
Yeah.
The fact that that was our problem is actually crazy, considering how long makeup's been around and how many brown people there exist
in the world.
Yeah. Like, why weren't we catered for immediately?
Yeah. That's a really good point. If you actually look at the size of the countries that probably house women of colour, it's probably a lot more than white people, surely. Like,
do you think they stock just different, say like a big makeup brand that's international, but say they had like products shipped to a store in India, for example, and then a store in the UK, are they sending different shades?
I think so. Because surely you'd be doing market research and stuff.
So is that because we're here that we didn't get the shades right for us?
Well, no, because surely they know that the UK is diverse.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Maybe so they didn't actually have the shades available. I'm just trying to figure out, like, why was it such a difficult thing?
Trying to get to the source of why my problem was so apparent. Was it a stocking issue?
Because why did these brands need people to kick up a fuss for them to, like, think about people other than white? I just don't...
And also, like, why wouldn't you want the extra revenue? Like, why wouldn't you
just costs too much.
Why wouldn't you want all women to be able to buy your products?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Like, you'd surely, as a business, you'd want that. It'd be part of your profit-making plan.
It must be that they're just making enough money without catering to us.
Yeah, that's most of the time as well. Do you remember all the Tarte? Or like, were you on TikTok when all the Tarte trip stuff was happening?
Oh, there's always such scandals around that brand. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know if I like that brand anymore, honestly. Because
of the trip?
No, yeah, and also the CEO's response to the trip. I know I'm saying this on like a public podcast, but she...
Well, they've made their response public, I'm assuming.
True. Very true. So basically this black girl that I follow, and her name is escaping me like right now as I'm talking about this, but she's amazing. She's a YouTube creator. But she basically pulled out of the Tarte trip because she realized she was only invited to like the second day or something, like not the actual event. So she pulled out because she was like, I'm better than this. And also she's a huge creator.
I didn't know she pulled out.
Yeah, so she pulled out, which is like, I think a big move because a lot of people...
I thought she only realised when it was too late, like when she got there.
No, I think she realised like close to the time that she would have gone.
Oh.
But it wasn't too late. But
so she didn't actually go and then realise, oh, I'm leaving. Because I thought she was like told that she... Oh, actually, yeah, it might have been that she was told she's leaving one day and she found out from other people that actually leaving later than her.
Yeah, something like that. So she pulled out and she made a TikTok about it. And it was like a very raw TikTok of her being like, I've done this thing. And then obviously because it's Tarte, and obviously because Tarte have had problems like casting that campaign in a diverse way, that very campaign every year, I think they just do it really badly. The CEO or whoever it is who's like in like leadership posted a get ready with me addressing the video, and I thought it was crazy that she did it in a get ready with, because I was like, this is someone's like livelihood and also a very important conversation about race. Serious and you're doing it while you're getting ready.
It's just making something that shouldn't be lighthearted.
Yeah, it was a massive call to read the room. But yeah, she made that video, and then in the video, I don't even know what she said. I can't really remember, but it was a mixture of like, I should have done better, I will, but the trip is, but like, I don't know if she like...
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry, basically. And there was a lot of people, there was such a huge wave of people who were saying that she should have just been grateful to have been invited and stuff, because it's such a big company and it's such a famous campaign. Like that influencer trip is quite a famous one. But then you're just
setting yourself up to be treated like shit when you shouldn't have to.
Yeah, and you're also allowing that behaviour as well. I
don't like when people give that kind of advice. Like, oh, just be grateful for you being treated lesser than.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like, why couldn't she have just been given the... If she's going to be given an invitation, invite it properly and invite everyone for the same length of time.
Yeah.
Don't create these like cliques and like tiers of how important people are to the brand. And I'd heard something about it being follower related, like they were sectioning off people based on like how big their following was. And that was like part of it. But even that's wrong. It's like if you're respecting a creator and you want them to promote your business, treat them with respect. Like the number, because I remember like Brianna was saying her engagement was the same pretty much as the other people. Like the follower number might have been different. But ultimately, they clearly liked what they saw and wanted her involved. So that's the common denominator with everyone you're inviting. So just treat them equally. This like unequal treatment is so dodgy to me. Like I just don't understand why they felt the need.
And it's
to
so
do that.
audacious.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy to me because it's literally 2023, and it's literally like Brianna, who's a huge like American creator, like huge. She's massive. I know she's got like 500,000 on
Is she?
TikTok. I swear it's something like that. And then like a very similar number on YouTube, I swear. But to be that audaciously like racist in the way you market your product.
It's so public as well for like a brand that needs to uphold its reputation. Like I just feel like how are you so bold with it when your own career is on the line? Do they genuinely don't see the problem with it?
Well, I think it comes back to what you said earlier. It's like they're probably just making enough money to not care.
Yeah, but do they not think that they're at risk of... Like, if you upset people, your money will go down. Like, if you upset enough people.
Have they upset enough people?
I don't know, actually. So what happened at the end of that? Because I guess that's been a while since that whole thing happened.
Yeah.
Everyone still uses them as a makeup brand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like,
do you know what, though? They've been cancelled so many times. This whole idea of cancelling people is just, like, non-existent.
Well, I think cancelling is probably a little bit dramatic, but, like, I personally don't support the brand. I've never supported the brand, but, like, my support's gonna do nothing. Yeah,
but there'll be, like, good amount of people that feel the same as you that would have supported previously and then don't anymore. But you're right, like, it's not even going to make a dent in, like, their revenue, and that's probably why they feel so entitled to
not change,
be so bold about how they feel about certain things, because there's not really any repercussions for doing that.
No.
Even though I'm sure it's legally or not. You know what's weird is that in the world of, like, influencing and stuff, you're just not protected in these ways that you are in, like, corporate sense. Like, if you were blatantly discriminated against in the corporate world, like, there are punishments for that. But, like, the same basic treatment that you would receive as an influencer or a creator, it's just swept under the rug and nobody bats an eye, or, like, there's no repercussion for it. So I feel like that's probably what needs to change. There just needs to be more protection for people that actually have careers.
Where is that coming from, though? Like, where is it going to come from?
I think eventually it will happen, because slowly there are laws being made to protect people, because it's now actually being recognised as a job. So it will come. It's just going to take a really, really long time. And by that point, it'll just be a whole new wave of people that will benefit from it. Yeah. But it is annoying, because it just almost you feel like you're back in the dark ages of people, like, having those views so openly, and it not being, like, they're not made to be accountable for that. Because it also encourages that kind of thinking and behaviour. The more people that outwardly do that and say that so publicly, and then there is no backlash, and then the people that also think that way feel more bold to have that way of thinking too.
Yeah, it, like, enables more of it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so too.
But I guess, what is our advice for, like, girls, like, younger versions of us? Because I feel like it's a very big, like, confidence is a huge thing, something I get asked about a lot. And I don't feel like I've mastered confidence, but I've definitely come a long way from being really just uncomfortable in my own skin. But it's a journey, I think. I don't know if there is an end destination, because, like I said before, that I feel like even the people that you look up to as being the most beautiful, they have insecurities too.
Yeah, they do. And, like, I think that like that phrase, like comparison is a thief of joy, is really annoyingly like what my advice is, because I think it's just, for me, the more you rely on anything else but yourself to confirm that you are beautiful and you are everything that you want to be and you like what you see in the mirror, that has to come from you.
Yeah, you can't really be told it.
You can't be told it. You can't look. Like, it is very nice to get it from representation. It's very nice to get it from your friends, and it's very nice to get it from like anything else outward or like from the outside world. But I think ultimately you have to be okay with the things that make you a little bit different. And also, I don't even like the word different, because it implies that like
it's wrong.
Yeah, it implies that it's wrong, or it's like,
but it's different from the standard, because there's always going to be a standard, so I guess it is.
And the standard like, itself is always friggin' changing as well.
Yeah, that's so true.
So you can't keep up with it. So you don't try.
You can't keep like changing your own appearance.
Yeah.
But I think what's definitely helped me, it's a bit weird actually, because in some way being online has made me a bit more insecure, but then also being online and seeing other women that are so like embracing their the features that are not celebrated has like made me realize that like that's okay.
Yeah.
Like you don't always have to celebrate one type of beauty, and like just I guess when people model the behavior of being confident in front of you, you kind of get a bit more confidence to do that for yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a little part of how I have gained a bit more confidence in my own skin. It's just by seeing that modeled by other people, because it just makes you feel more empowered to do that yourself. I think. Yeah,
like seeing someone else confident being themselves definitely
just like,
makes
wow,
me confident.
goals.
Yeah, like I do it with you.
I want to be that. Really? What do you mean?
Because you're like super you have a confident, like you project very confidently.
Yeah.
And
I'm a very fake it till you make it kind of person.
Yeah.
Like, I will just put it on, and one day I will just be that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's exactly the road I would like to follow as well. But like, so when I see you being so like confident about the way you look and like your features, and then appreciating just like you for you, it makes me want to do the same for myself.
But I think that reflects a lot on, that's why the whole representation thing, I feel like I would be so scared to actually change something about myself and have another girl think that, oh, she's done it, so there must be something wrong with me too, you know?
Oh, that's very eldest sister of you.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. There's a strong element of that in there.
Yeah. I'm the same as well, because like, have you heard of this? There's this thing as well. There's this thing about, you know, like the plastic surgery trend. Not plastic surgery, sorry. Like fillers and Botox and stuff like that. There was some discourse on TikTok around the more people doing that, because the effect of doing it is the same on everybody's face, people are starting to look the same, like at certain ages. And like, I can tell what they're talking about. I don't know if you can tell what they're talking about. If you think about like celebrities who've maybe had their lips done and cheeks done and Botox and stuff, they look like you have a similar look when you've had a brow lift. Like if me and you got a brow lift right now, we'd have a similar.
But isn't the idea to look the same? Like that's how they do it.
Well, I thought the idea was to like get rid of your wrinkles and like make yourself look more youthful.
But doesn't it create like this certain like facial structure almost by doing stuff like that?
Oh yeah, because you're emulating the Western beauty standard.
I think that's why you do it.
That's the whole thing that we're like.
Everyone's starting to look the same.
Yeah, everyone's starting to look the same, and when I kind of started to look into that discourse, I was like, I don't actually want to look the same, because I was also getting not influenced to actually go and physically do it, but I was starting to think about, oh my god, when do I need to start getting Botox, and when is preventative instead of curing?
I went down a little rabbit hole around Botox, because I saw like 25-year-olds getting preventative Botox, and I was like, should I be doing that too?
Yeah, have I missed the boat? Like I was actually worrying about all that stuff, and I was picking my face apart, and like, again, rabbit hole. But it was watching that video and realizing if I did it, I would start a journey of
I feel like you
looking
teach
like
your
everyone
body
else.
to, but also I almost feel like you teach your body to not do its thing. You know what I mean? Because you're like forcing chemicals or whatever it is into your body. Like you're distorting your natural process of your body just because you don't necessarily get old and like become this wrinkled mess.
Yeah.
You know, it's not really the reality either.
Yeah, there's a way
But
to
almost-
gracefully age.
Yeah, but you're almost preventing something you don't even know is gonna like really affect you that badly.
Yeah, it's like when we were talking about the feng shui of the earth.
Yeah.
It's probably like a feng shui of the body.
That's what I was trying to get at. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're just like preventing natural occurrences from.
Yeah.
But not only that, it's that your body could have just fought that itself or like done its own thing and not been so drastic that you would even feel like you need it when you're older. But you've
Yeah.
almost like got in there first before you've given it a chance to do its thing.
Yeah.
And like be okay.
Yeah. You've not given yourself a chance to actually be okay with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never. But also, I think what puts me off the most is the needles and the actual pain.
Oh my god, I've seen the needles.
I can't justify like putting myself through pain like that on purpose. Like volunteering for that. You know, like when you get shots or like vaccinations, it's like that's a need and that's already traumatizing. But to actually go ahead and just because you want to change a bit of your body, like my body is the way it is and I'm just going to have to find a way to deal with it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like now I've decided I'm going to have to find a way to deal with it. Yeah.
Just like, because I ain't going through that.
I'll just do some heavy like gua sha, sunscreen every day.
At least that's not painful.
Well, it's supposed to be painful.
Gua
Like,
sha's
if you
meant
do
to be painful.
Well, I was reading about it. Like if you do it properly, it leaves like red marks and stuff.
But does that necessarily mean pain? I think that's just like your skin can be sensitive and like make a mark, but not necessarily like hurt you. I don't think it's meant to hurt.
Okay, well maybe not.
I thought it was meant to be like a more of a relaxing thing than like a painful sculpting of the face.
Yeah, well, maybe it's meant to be like a mixture or something. It's like I thought it was just like pushing all the lymph and stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know. Maybe I'll do some more research.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do
Don't
it.
be attacking your own face.
It's me in the shower this morning. Honestly, it's hay fever puff. It's
Okay to go through phases of that discomfort and like you're growing and you're understanding your body and things are changing naturally as you get older.
Yeah.
But just because you don't look like that person on the magazine or like on the social media post doesn't take away from you.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I'm probably pretty sure that everyone listening to this is really beautiful. And
100%.
just
Do you know
doesn't
what I
believe it.
love? Like with one of the quotes that actually really helped put it in perspective is it was something along the lines of you look at a flower and you think that's beautiful. You look at a sunset and you think that's beautiful, but they look completely different.
Oh my god, I love that. Yeah.
And it's like, but does that mean the sunset's any less beautiful because it doesn't look like a flower, or the other way around? And it's like, wow, that's so true. Like, there's so much beauty in the world. Just ignore the humans for a minute. Like, there's so much beauty, but none of it looks the same.
Yeah.
Like, plants don't look the same as like a beautiful sunset that you'd be in awe of, or the stars in the sky.
Yeah.
But none of them, you don't compare them. And I feel like people should be the same, even though we're all human and the same formation in a way, it's still the same.
That is such
So
a
cute, isn't it?
lovely, amazing sentiment. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a very nice way to kind of
Think
mic
about it.
drop
Yeah.
the advice.
And goodbye.
Well, not physically.
Oh yeah, it's not
Pod drop. Oh, that was really nice. That is such a perfect way to summarize what we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, hopefully that's a little bit of food for thought. And I think that's a really good quote to like keep in mind when you're comparing yourself or
Yeah.
you're just focused on your appearance a bit more than you'd like to be.
Yeah. Write it down and read it every time you feel insecure. I think that'd be quite nice. But yeah, I think that would bring us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and please leave us a review. We would hugely appreciate it. And also tell us your stories, your beauty stories. What are your opinions on the Tarte drama? I know it was a while ago, but let us know. And we will speak to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.